What is up, guys? Danny Carlson here from Kenji ROI and also the founder of the Actualize Freedom podcast. And this video is going to be the most comprehensive video on Amazon keyword research online. It's based on 3 years of Kenji ROI working on more than 1,200 Amazon listings for our clients. So we've really refined our process on this, and we've gone through a lot of different iterations and dozens of different softwares and methods of doing this. So I like to think we have some of the best experience out there in the game when it comes to Amazon keyword research, and I'm going to share with you in as much detail as possible, step by step, how I do it. And to start, too, we're going to go into some really important conceptual stuff. I'm not just going to show you guys, I'm going to explain exactly why everything is important and why each step is necessary, so you guys not only can do it, but you can really understand everything. Because Amazon is known for changing a lot of things going forward, and if you go through this entire video, you should have a good understanding of how to roll with the punches when Amazon changes something. If you can understand the entire game, you can understand how to adapt to the game when the game changes. So first off, just a basic overview of Amazon keyword ranking. If you're brand new to the game, it's really important to understand a couple things. Firstly, the difference between a Google search and an Amazon search. So shoppers searching on Amazon, they have, by default, something called a buyer intent. You're not going to type something into the Amazon search bar if you are not at least looking for something to buy. That's not the case on Google at all. Very small percentage of Google searches have buying intent. So if someone's searching on Google for Bluetooth headphones, maybe they just wanted like an image of Bluetooth headphones they could put in their presentation for school or something like that, right? It's typically only buyer intent if they search for buy Bluetooth headphones or Bluetooth headphones Amazon or something like that, right? Get Bluetooth headphones. That's what you call buyer intent. But Amazon by default has that buyer intent. So that's why its customers are so valuable, even though way less people search on Amazon than on Google. Google is massive, right? And another thing that's really important is, so basically the way Amazon keyword research works is you want to find the keywords that people are typing into Amazon that have high search volume and high relevancy. And it specifically must describe your product. So it's not enough to go for the really broad keywords. We're going to get this into more detail later in this video. But if you go after really broad words that could refer to, maybe 5 or 6 different products, those are not going to be high converting keywords. You want them to be both very specific to your product and then also high search volume. So it's all about optimizing your listing to show up for those searches on Amazon. And then it's important to know what Amazon's algorithm deems as important. We want to optimize for the Amazon A10 algorithm so our products show up high in the search results. And in its most basic form, Amazon's algorithm likes what is good for the shopper. It does not care about Amazon sellers. It will suspend $10 million a year Amazon sellers before it will piss off its customers. Amazon just knows that if it doesn't have customers, then it has no business, right? So there are a lot of ranking factors, but the biggest ones are sales history and velocity through those keyword phrases. So when someone types in a specific keyword phrase into the Amazon search bar, they find your product and they purchase, then you're going to gain keyword ranking for that specific keyword search phrase and probably other related search phrases that are close, right? And then also conversion rate. What percentage of shoppers that visit your listing are purchasing? If that's a really low rate, then Amazon sees your product as, hey, this is a dud product. Our valuable customers do not like this product, so we're not going to show this product to our valuable customers, right? And relevancy. How well is your product page optimized for the right keywords? So Amazon's algorithm is crawlers are scanning all the words in your listing, the images and all that kind of stuff to get a really good picture of what your product is and also your product category, right? And then from that, it decides what searches are relevant for your product. So if you have a bunch of keywords in there that aren't really relevant, you're just keyword stuffing a bunch of random stuff, then you're feeding the algorithm bad information, right? And price. So price actually plays a really big factor in ranking. It has been proven again and again that you can get ranked on page 1 by having very low amount of reviews and the other stuff kind of crappy, but a much, much lower price for a long period of time. So if you can undercut everyone on price, you can get ranked on page 1 much easier. I don't recommend that as a strategy, but that is a ranking factor. Just be aware of that. And then reviews, it's not a huge ranking factor, but it is a factor for conversion rate. So if you have much higher review rate, a lot of reviews, and it is 4.5 stars or 5 stars, then your conversion rate is going to go up, and Amazon's algorithm does pay a lot of attention to conversion rate. So another really important thing to understand, long tail phrases versus broad keywords. So a long tail phrase typically is a phrase that is 3 words or more, and a short tail phrase would just be, 2 words. And typically the money is in the long tail phrases. So if it's 3 words or more, it is by default going to be more specific. So instead of being water bottle, it might be stainless steel water bottle. And someone searching for a long tail keyword, they typically know, they have a better idea what they're looking for. If someone searched for water bottle, which is a short tail keyword, then they don't necessarily know what type of water bottle they want. Maybe they're scrolling and looking at other water bottles, and so it's not that important to try to rank for the short tail keywords, because those buyers, they need to figure out what they want, and then they're probably going to make a second or third search that is a long tail phrase, right? So there's more buying intent with the long tail phrases. And a few other really important keyword terminologies here. So when I'm going to be saying keyword, I'm typically referring to one single word. And phrase is the terminology I'm going to use when multiple words are as one search term. So anything more than one single keyword. And a search term, basically the same thing as a phrase, just a keyword or phrase typed into the search bar in Amazon. So like if it has been searched for, then that would be a search term, right? And I mentioned long tail keyword and short tail keyword already. I think you guys get that. Short tail, two words or less, and long tail, 3 words or more. Exact match. So an exact match phrase would be a phrase written in the exact form that the customer searches for it. So if I have water bottle red as my exact match phrase, then red water bottle would not be exact match. That would be phrase match. So exact match is only in the exact spelling and exact order. Phrase match is very similar, but maybe you switched around the order of the words, and maybe you added on an S to the end of, water bottles. And then broad match would be expanding upon that a lot more. Instead of like water bottles red, it might be like orange bottles full of water. And Amazon's algorithm would expand upon that broad keyword match. So that's more important when it comes to PPC, but just keep in mind when I'm talking about exact match here, I mean that it's important to have the exact spelling in the exact same order. And that has the most power when you are deciding what keywords to put into your Amazon listing. And we're going to go deep into a lot of Amazon keyword research tools. So there's a lot of tools and then also manual methods. It's really important to understand that keyword tools are not going to give you the full picture. Software tools are really good at processing large amounts of data and just giving you a bunch of results that a human then needs to add the human element to it and make some decisions that only a human can make. So software is great and amazing for a lot of things, but even Google, the world's largest search engine, which like literally billions of dollars has been poured into the development of this engine to make it the most amazing thing ever, even Google can be tricked by SEO experts, and it can be manipulated by humans with the human element of the brain, right? So it's really important to get a good mix of manual and keyword research tool methods. So to understand this a little bit deeper, it's important to understand where the data comes from. So some data is real Amazon data that these software developers, they have access to Amazon's API and it's giving them this real data. But a lot of it, they are making guesses. They're taking a little bit of data from Amazon and then they have their own software algorithms that will extrapolate on that and make its best guess, but it can't really be relied upon to be 100% accurate. So take it with a grain of salt. So real Amazon data from software tools, the best ones will have access to the real keyword search volume. So keyword search volume, if you're using the right tool, just make sure you're using the right tool that does this, guys. A lot of them, it is a total guess. So I do not recommend merchant words. I've seen bad data from that. I do recommend Helium 10. Viral Launch Keyword Research is good. There are many others out there, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be focusing a lot on Helium 10 because that's the one I use the most. And a lot of guess Amazon data comes in the form of search volume, or units sold of competitor products. So if you're using Jungle Scout or Market Intelligence to see what your competitors are selling, their revenues, and how many they've sold, that is all guess data. They have data, real sales data from a small amount of products, and then they're using a little bit of Amazon data to make their best guess about what those products on the page are actually selling. So keep in mind that you probably want to be checking back on a product at least once a week for a period of a month or two to get a better picture of the up and down swings. So like maybe one day you checked it and something's selling 400 units a month, and then you check back 2 weeks later and it's only selling 30 units a month. Well, maybe they just did like one really big launch promotion and they screwed up the data that Jungle Scout is telling you or something like that. So just keep that in mind that A lot of the data these tools are telling you is not real Amazon data. And next up, this is a really, really important concept, is that optimizing for the Amazon algorithm is only one piece of the puzzle. So at Kenji ROI, we have a methodology we call the triple optimized Amazon listing. And if you are not optimizing for all three of these things, then you are missing out on high conversion rates, high click-through rates, and all of the other factors that the Amazon algorithm looks at to rank your products high on Amazon. So it's not enough just to optimize for keywords, because by default, if you over-optimize for keywords, you are under-optimizing for the human element. And Amazon also optimizes for the human element, because the human element comes in the form of conversion rate and click-through rate. And if you're not getting high click-through rates, you're not getting people from the search results to your listing. Amazon penalizes you for that, let alone you can't actually get any sales. And if you don't have high conversion rate, one, you're not making any sales, and two, Amazon's algorithm doesn't like it very much. They see your product as a loser, right? So the three elements of a triple optimized Amazon listing are: one, keyword optimization; two, key info optimization; and three, persuasive desire optimization. So what does that mean? You guys have a good idea of what keyword optimization is by this point. So key info communication is what is the most key information and benefits about a product to communicate to the customer, and how can I optimize that information to be in the right places in my listing that shoppers will, one, click through to my product, and then two, actually purchase the product. So an example of that kind of key information would be things like BPA free. It's going to be different for every type of product, right? But for food products, for sure, BPA free is something that people are scanning. They don't even want to click on a product that isn't BPA free. So you'd want to have that information in the first little snippet of the title there. And certainly in some of the images, like within the first three images, I would have a BPA free icon that is really highly showing that off. Probably in the top bullet point as well. Depends on how important that specific thing is to the customer. Another thing too is like quantity. If you are selling a 20 pack of something, it's very important that shoppers see that, because every shopper, they're making a calculation in their brain subconsciously between the price and the quantity of something that they're getting. And a lot of people, myself included, often are scrolling the search results just looking for the best value and doing this little calculation in the brain, right? Or specific things. If I'm looking for, only Bluetooth 4 headphones, I only want the brand new Bluetooth 4, whatever that does. I don't really care, to be honest, but I'm going to scroll the search results and only click on something that has Bluetooth 4, right? It's just like identifying those trigger words and those really key pieces of information, and then optimizing your listing for those. So if you see on my screen here, these highlighted red areas are the only places that Amazon shoppers really look at before they're going to click on a product. So that is the main image, the first 100 characters or so of the title, the price, and the reviews. So that's pretty much it. They don't see your bullet points. They don't see the description, your beautiful A+ content. They don't see your second image. They are very quickly scanning the search results and making a decision to click on your product based off of this limited information. So these are the places you want to optimize. And since you don't really have a whole lot of control over your price and your number of reviews, you want to really optimize your main image and the first little bit of your title there for this kind of information. So definitely spend time to brainstorm what are the specific key info your customers are scanning the search results for, and then optimize your listing to be super, super digestible for those in the right places. And next up, we have persuasive desire optimization. So this is how do we instill the shoppers with the desire to buy our product over everyone else's, right? And this comes down to persuasive sales copywriting. So there's a few different ways to do this. One, with the actual copy on the page, and two, with the images. The most effective way to do this is with lifestyle images and graphic design images. So the goal of every lifestyle image, you should have a real model that is your exact target demographic. So if you're targeting women over 50, your model should be a woman over 50. And the biggest mistake I see is having posed images or images that don't have a very specific thing that they're showing off. So if you're trying to show off a very specific benefit, let's say that this eye cream gets rid of wrinkles in your face, then you should have an image of the model just like looking in the mirror with like wrinkle-free skin, just a big smile on her face. She clearly is satisfied with what she's seeing without the wrinkles in her face. So putting that kind of thought into exactly what specific benefit you're showing off for each image allows the customer to visualize how their life is going to improve through owning your product. and it should be showing the exact moment that the model is receiving the benefit. So whatever benefit you're trying to show, it should catch it actually in action. I see a lot of the time where a model is like holding the product and staring at the camera. That's a useless lifestyle image. That is absolutely useless, and it is a waste of your money to create those kind of images. Show the model actually whatever you're trying to show actually in the act of receiving that main benefit, and it's going to be much, much more powerful. And then with the text copywriting, if you don't know what copywriting is, basically it is any text that has the goal of getting someone to purchase something. So any sales pages, any emails, any Amazon pages that are directed to get someone to buy is writing sales copy. And it's all about psychology, basically. It's the psychology of sales in written form. And there are a lot of proven copywriting principles that can really increase the conversion rates on your Amazon listings. So the most basic one is to stir up the pain that the customer is currently in not having a product. And you do that through just illustrating like what is the problem that they have and just illustrating how bad that problem is. And then you present your product as the solution to that, the bridge, and then you illustrate how their life will be improved without this pain. So actually getting them into the state of the pain, they can feel the pain through reading your copy. They are in that state of feeling the pain, and then they see that you have the solution for them, and then you're illustrating how their life is going to be improved by having your product. That really takes people through a journey and increases your conversion rates when you can actually take them through that journey. And you do that not only through the copywriting, but through the images as well, through some graphic design on the image, some text on the images, and really taking them through that story cohesively with your Amazon listing. So to recap on that is keyword optimization, persuasive desire optimization, and key info optimization is a fully triple optimized Amazon listing. It's not enough only to do the keywords. And with that caveat, back to the keyword research. Okay, so we are diving into the meat of it. This is going to be step-by-step how to do the most comprehensive keyword research taught anywhere online, and a lot of gurus are teaching this kind of stuff in their courses that cost $5,000, and I guarantee that this process is better than what they're teaching in a $5,000 course, literally. So first things first, get your keyword master sheet template. You can download the template in the description below this video or in the blog version of this. If you prefer to follow along, definitely go check out the blog, which will be in the link below as well. So this basically is just a place where we can have all of our keywords. You can see there's different tabs down here that are going to house the results from different tools that we have, and we are going to combine everything together so we have a really good picture of the keywords all in one place. We don't have like all these different CSV files and everything all over the place. Really important to stay organized. So first strategy, we're going to be using a reverse ASIN lookup tool. I like to use Cerebro by Helium 10. We got a special affiliate link for you guys down there that you guys get a bit of a discount if you guys want to get started with Helium 10 tools. But I recommend Helium 10 because I've just used them for more than 3 years now, and they have a really good suite of tools, and I find them to be really reliable. I've had Manny Coates on the podcast before, and I've personally talked to him about where they actually get their data and how things work a little bit, so I feel comfortable with them. But that being said, you guys can use any other tool out there for reverse ASIN. There are free options. If you guys are looking for a free option, go check out, I think it's Sonar. Yeah, you go to sonar.tool.com/US, and if you just choose the ASIN option in the search, then you'll find it here. So here we are here. Just press ASIN, and that's going to do a reverse ASIN lookup. And that's a completely free option, but for this video, I'm going to be using Cerebro. So the way this tool works, we got to identify your top 3 to 5 competitors and go get their ASIN from Amazon. So let's say that Oculus Rift is our competitor. You'd have to be pretty crazy to compete against Oculus Rift if you're going to launch your own VR headset, but hey, entrepreneurs are crazy people, right? So we're going to take the ASIN. So the way I found that is on any Amazon link, you're going to see something called DP. So DP stands for detail page. Then after that, you're going to have your ASIN. So as long as you can find this in the URL, then you're good. And a cool little trick actually is all of this is not really necessary. The very core canonical URL, if you were to delete all of this out, then this is all you need to go to the Amazon page too. So if you have the ASIN, all you have to do is type in amazon.com/dp/ASIN, and that will also take you to that exact Amazon page. So now we have our ASIN. We're going to paste it into Cerebro, and we're going to go get keywords. You can also go get competitors if you want the tool to show you which competitors you should be looking at, but I like to choose them manually from Amazon. Just, okay, like here are the 3 competitors that I want to see their keywords. And the reason this is really good is you can get a good picture of what your competitors are already ranking for, and a lot of the time there's keywords in there that you didn't really think to punch into the keyword tool. So it's a good way to get a good variety of different keywords that you can then do further searches in with a tool like Magnet 2, for example. Okay, so the search is done here, and you might want to take a look through here, just get an idea of what the keywords are, just kind of get your brain used to it. But what I like to do is just immediately export the entire search, and we're going to do a bunch of these searches for different products. So I want to combine all the searches together in the keyword master spreadsheet. So the way we do that is we come up here to export and just go CSV. Okay, so we got this in here. I'm just going to very quickly do another 3 or so searches for other ASINs that are my top competitors, and then I'm going to add them in here. I'm just going to quickly show you what that looks like. So this is the process for combining the search results of multiple spreadsheets into one single spreadsheet. So I'm just going to show you this guy's once, and then whenever I'm telling you to combine the search results of 5 or more into one single one, just go through this exact same process. So I don't want to copy this top header. I only want to copy everything underneath it. So I'm going to click underneath here, and I'm going to go Control-Shift right, and that gets everything to the right, and then Control-Shift down, and it just takes a second, and you can see it goes all the way down. We have like 2,478 results here. So I just copy and paste literally all of that, come back to the keyword master spreadsheet. Then I'm in the Helium 10 Cerebral Reverse ASIN tab. And if you guys want to use more tools too, rename them, just make new tabs and just match what we have across the top here. So I'm going to paste it underneath here. And that is, thousands and thousands of rows of data. So it's going to take a little bit of a second, and then we go on to here, just click anywhere on the left side, and go Control-Shift down, and it's going to take me all the way down to row 2079. So we don't have to manually scroll down all the way. I'm going to insert one row above or below. Yeah, below would be better. And then I go to my other one. That was the one I just did. And I'm just going to combine 2 together just so you guys can see, but obviously you should be doing 5 or more of these. Over to the right, Control-Shift down to select everything down. And we have 11,000 rows of data. That is crazy. Okay, back to the spreadsheet here. And we're just going to paste into here. And boom, now we have something like 13,000 rows of data. So obviously there's going to be a lot of crossover. There's going to be a lot of the same things in here repeated over and over again. So now we want to remove duplicates. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Okay, so removing duplicates is really easy in Google Sheets. It's a different process in Microsoft Excel. So if you want that, you can just Google search for it, or I have a link to it in the blog version of this. So check out the blog version. The link to that is in the description of this video. So I want to click on this little square in the upper left, and that's going to select all of the data here, and then go to the data column and go down to remove duplicates. So I specifically only want to remove duplicates in column A, right? This is where all the keywords are. Otherwise, if I choose all of them, then it's going to find, ones that have the same kind of search volume, or, this one, headline ASINs, it all is one, so it would remove literally everything. So I want to press select all to unselect everything, and then choose column A, because that column A is where all of my keywords are. And then I also want to choose data has header row. So that all that means is that this top header row is has everything there. So press remove duplicates. So it took out 2,476 duplicates. So that is the power of software right there, just automatically processing all of your data there. That still leaves us with like 9,000 rows of different keywords, right? So that just shows us how many different keywords we actually have. Really, really powerful. This next one is only going to apply if you've already been selling this product on Amazon for a certain amount of time and you've been running Amazon PPC. This is one of the best sources of data because it specifically is about your product, and it will show you good things like click-through rates and conversion rates on specific keywords, so you can get a really good idea of what specific keywords and search terms are specific enough to your product that are performing well, right? And then you can work those into your listing. And I would recommend having at least 2 months worth of pay-per-click data, spending thousands of dollars a month, hopefully $5,000 a month or more on this to get really good data. But even if you only have a little bit, you're going to get some ideas for new keywords. If you have an auto campaign or a broad campaign running, Amazon's ads algorithm is going to come up with new search terms that it thinks are related to your product, and some of those can be really good, right? And then you want to optimize your listing for those specific ones. Maybe it's a variation of ones you already have in there. So the way to get these reports is you come into Amazon Seller Central here, click on the advertising tab, and then go to advertising reports. And you can see here that we have sponsored products. So you want to choose sponsored products and then search term. And you can name it whatever you want. Just keep some kind of structure for it. I like to go as long as possible. So you want the biggest date range possible. Just go back as far as it will actually let you go here. Choose that up till today's date. And then press create report and it will download. But I already got one open here just to show you guys. Okay, so first thing I like to do is select the first row, and I like to bold it just so it's easier to pick out that information. And then I will select everything and then go over to this one right here, which allows me to create a filter. And I like to filter first by spend. What am I spending the most money on? Because anything that, a lot of these is spent less than $1, so none of that data is going to actually be meaningful here. And what to pay attention to is, spend. So let's say that I don't want to, first I usually like to sort by clicks. I don't want to see anything with less than 10 clicks. So I press on here and I'm going to go filter by condition, and then I want to choose greater than 9. So anything with 10 clicks or more is the only thing that I want to see. So it's going to filter out anything there. And another good filter, I think that's good for now. This leaves us with a good. You want to be a little bit more specific if you just have way too many keywords. So what you want to be paying attention to is the customer search term. This is the actual search term that you are showing up for. So you showed up on the search results for heat gun for crafts. And then this is an ASIN. So it actually showed up an advertisement on this other ASIN right here. So you showed up on someone else's product. And the targeting, this is different. So if it is an exact match campaign, then these two things should be exactly the same, right? Because it's an exact match. But if you're doing an automatic campaign, then the targeting is gonna show this star, because an automatic campaign just shows whatever it thinks is relevant, and a broad campaign is going to expand a little bit upon it. So here's a phrase match one. So originally you're bidding on hot glue gun, but Amazon's algorithm expanded it with a phrase match to say battery powered hot glue gun, right? So that's an example of Amazon's algorithm coming up with something that could potentially be good. And I like to sort also by click-through rate. So the higher the click-through rate, the more relevant Amazon customers think your product is, and those are probably ones that we want to go for, right? So I'm going to filter by click-through rate, highest to lowest. So we found this one here. It has a 30% click-through rate. So that is pretty incredible. This is one that the auto campaign came up with. So wireless glue gun with charger. That is a pretty incredible keyword, right? Let's take a little bit more look at that. I'm just going to highlight that one. Scroll over here to the right. Has an advertising cost of sale of 23%. That's pretty good. We haven't spent a whole lot on this one here. It has 12 clicks, but they're really cheap clicks, and they're getting a good advertising cost of sale, and the click-through rate is through the roof, right? So if we don't already have this keyword in our listing, then I would want to consider maybe even putting this one in my title, because it seems to be really powerful. And we just want to go through and look at the click-through rate, the advertising cost of sale, how much that is getting, and then the last thing we want to take a look at to make these kind of decisions is the conversion rate. So over here, 7-day conversion rate here. You can see some of these are really high, 41% conversion rate, 28% conversion rate. These are ones that we want to look at. And conversely, on the flip side, if you have ones with really low conversion rate, then maybe you want to consider shutting those ones off. Maybe customers are just not finding your product really relevant when they see it on the search results, and you're wasting money on that. So getting your keywords from the search term report is a really powerful way, and it is some of the best data that you have access to as an Amazon seller. Boom, and just like that, I'm in a different room, I'm not wearing a shirt, and I just got a fresh haircut. Boom, Bali is hot right now, and I just turned the air conditioning on, so sorry for you guys who don't like me not wearing a shirt, but it is friggin' hot. So Next step here is looking at your competitors' back-end search terms. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because honestly this isn't super valuable, but it is a good idea just to look on at least your top competitors and see what they have in their search terms field, in their subject matter field. So there's a lot of different tools that do this. This one is ZonGuru. It is a paid tool, so you would have to pay for it, but I would recommend doing this at least once just to take a look at what they have in the search terms. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because honestly, usually they just have a bunch of crap in there that you would just expect anyway. So don't expect any mind-blowing results doing this. And now is a method called concatenation. So this is a bit of a manual method that we have the help of software. So software is really good at coming up with a lot of different variations of one thing, but it's not so good at coming up with a bunch of different long tail phrases that maybe you're not search as much. So I like to do what is called concatenation. It's a little bit of a mouthful. So in these different columns, I'm going to put different variations. So let's use the same example of water bottle. What else can we call bottle? Water, container. Let's just brainstorm everything we possibly can, and then we have a method later to filter out all the crap. So bottle, container, tumbler, thermos. You should be spending a lot of time on this. I'm kind of going to go through it just to show you guys. Water, call it liquid. Could call it coffee. Maybe people are using it for coffee. Water. Let's just go with that, and then let's add onto the end. Let's do for men, for women, for coffee, for hot drinks. Coffee bottle for coffee is going to be a pretty funny one. For hot drinks, and stainless steel. Steel. We just want to come up with as many variations as possible. If you want to get really crazy, you can open up column D here, and that's going to create even more long tail phrases. But for now, let's just go with that. Concatenate, and right here we have 72 results, right? So it just created all the different combinations of these three right here. So liquid tumbler for men, liquid tumbler steel, coffee container, stainless steel, and these are all potentially good phrases. And we're going to punch a bunch of these into some keyword tools later to expand upon them even more. But it's good, especially for Amazon pay-per-click, where sometimes these keywords are only going to get a few searches a month. But if you are bidding for them and you have your keywords done right, then you're going to be the person who shows up for the ads for those few searches a month. And if you get a lot of different ones like that, then that adds up, right? So you can just take everything here, copy and paste it, and put it into a new tab in your Keyword Master spreadsheet. And now there's some other ones that I'm just going to fly through. You can spend as much time on these as you want. I recommend doing at least a little bit just to get a few more ideas that you might have missed. So thesaurus. So what are some other ways? You might want to do this one before you do the concatenation, so you come up with more words to put into the concatenation. So synonyms, right? So what is a synonym for bottle? If we're doing the water bottle example, then see what thesaurus.com comes up with. So a glass, water glass. It doesn't really apply to the product that I would be going for, right? Jar, jug. Some of these are going to be garbage, but you might find a really good one here that's going to allow you to get some more long tail phrases. A carafe, that I know that's one that does have some kind of search volume. A canteen, a flask, vacuum bottle. See, these are all really good ones. So just play around with different words. You should be typing at least 3 or 4 different words that describe your product into here to come up with different ones, and just follow this down. So each one of these here too, you can just click on it or just go down here, and you can go many layers deep, and flask, bottle, thermos. It's just coming up with slightly different ones, right? So don't spend too much time here, but it's really good, and it can inform some of your keyword searches you're going to be doing in the next step. And next up here, so Amazon has something we refer to as autocomplete. So if we type in water bottle, it shows you all of these, right? And these are common searches that people commonly search for. So I know that's the case because I have some friends who have done some hacking of this, and they've been able to show their brand name up in some of these searches just by doing some hacking. But I don't recommend doing that because they could get you some trouble with Amazon. So you can just do different searches in here and see what this comes up with, or a faster way to do that, it will give you free searches up to a certain point, is keywordtool.io/Amazon. So you can see here the results on this one are exactly the same as what's showing up in here, except it is expanding upon this. So we now found 252 versions of that. There's just like a lot more variations. It's pretty much the equivalent of you sitting here and typing in a bunch of different variations of water bottle to come up with this. It just does it way faster. So that can be a good resource for doing that. And the next one is Google Keyword Planner. So one major difference between Google and Amazon is Amazon obviously has buyer intent where Google necessarily does not. So we want to be careful with this data. Don't put too much weight into it. But again, Google is such a massive resource of so many searches every day. Far, far more searches happen on Google every single day. So to completely ignore this data is probably not so good, right? So let's go to Google Keyword Planner. You're going to need a Google AdWords account. So sign up for one of those and then come into the Keyword Planner in the Tools and Settings section here. That would show up in their Planning and Keyword Planner. So I want to go to Discover New Keywords and let's type in water bottle and see what comes up. And usually you want to be doing a few searches here. So have the results of one search inform the next search. So what's showing up here is like pretty generic stuff. It's mostly brand names, Hydro water bottle, Best water bottle, Trudeau water bottle. So this is probably not going to be super relevant to my product. I'm also going to put in a few more. Like let's go like stainless steel water bottle. Let's go water bottle BPA free, and now let's see what else comes up here with that. Okay, so we're starting to get a little bit better here. Plastic water bottle, Hydrate Spark, thermos water bottle. You know, this is not the most amazing information here, but at least I would take ones that have more than 1,000 searches and I would include that into my Amazon keywords, because if that many people are searching for these on Google, it's probably a lot of those people are also going to be searching for the same thing on Amazon. So I want to take out ones that have brand names in them. So I don't want like Costco or this Gatorade and all that kind of stuff. Yeti water bottle. I don't want to put those in. Amazon doesn't like when you put competitor keywords in there. Technically it's against terms of service. So I would go and take those out. But other than that, I would just go to export and export the CSV and boom shakalaka. Okay, so now we want to identify the 10 most unique phrases from all that data and then put it into a keyword research tool like Helium-10 Magnet is the one I'm going to use, and that will allow us to expand to even more keywords. So what do I mean by the 10 most unique phrases? So you can see on my screen here the examples that I have for water bottle. These are some examples that you should be picking out from your other keyword data, different ways to refer to your product. So stainless steel water bottle, steel bottle, insulated water bottle for gym, steel tumbler, water thermos, metal bottle, water container. You can see these are all phrases that they're very different from each other, right? And the goal here is to put a bunch of unique searches into the tool, so it's going to expand upon those even more. We don't want them to be the same. Like we don't want to do like stainless steel water bottle and then steel water bottle and then water bottle, because it is probably going to get back a bunch of the same results. So we're trying to get the widest spread here. So just really quickly, I'm going to show you what I mean. So we'll just be taking each one of these 10 and we're going to stick them into Magnet. Press Get Keywords here. Search this before, right? And load that from history. And then we just want to export the results and put all of them into the same tab in our keyword master spreadsheet, just like we did for the reverse ASIN, right? So I'm not going to show you guys the same process. You guys can just go back and look at that. But basically, we just go and press the export button over here. Export. Once this loads here, it goes a little slower when I'm recording a video. Export to Excel or CSV, and then go and combine them all together and go through the remove duplicates process. So go ahead and do that now, guys. Okay, and if possible, I'd recommend doing this with multiple different keyword tools. If you only have a subscription to one, then stick with one. That will be okay. But I like to do it with several different ones. So you can see here what I've done. I have the Cerebro Reverse ASIN, we got Sonar, it's just a free, easy tool to use, Viral Launch Keyword Research, and Helium-10 Magnet. And then, so what I'm going to do is try to pick out what are the main keywords. So we want to identify the top 5 main keywords because this is going to inform us what we should optimize our listing based around the most. You're going to have more than 5 keyword phrases in your listing and optimize for those, but we want to like really hyper optimize the listing for the very top 5 ones. And there's some criteria here, right? We need high search volume. Obviously, we want enough people searching for the keyword so that if we show up in the results, a lot of people are going to see our product. But 2, it has to be hyper relevant. So let's take a look here. So we have large woven storage baskets. So laundry basket is the #1 search volume, right? So we've sorted this here. We just sorted from most search volume to low search volume. And the #1 is laundry basket, but in my opinion, that is too broad, right? If someone's searching for a laundry basket, they're probably more likely looking for just one of those cheap plastic ones, right? It probably costs $5 or $4, and it's just a cheap laundry basket. We don't know specifically they're looking for an extra large woven storage basket. It's probably on the higher end, right? So let's keep going here. Storage bins, still not really my product, so I don't want to just choose the ones with the top search volume. These are not really relevant enough to my product. And typically you guys will see that the short tail keywords like this with only 2 words are typically too broad. You typically want to go long tail, which is 3 words or more. Storage baskets, closet organizers, and storage. See, we're still not getting relevant to the product here, so let's keep going down. Wicker basket, I think maybe that's kind of close, so I would highlight this one. And then, so this is the first one that I would consider to be actually main keyword down here. So woven basket. So our basket is woven and it is a storage basket. So like all of these ones above, we have 15 keywords above that have a higher amount of exact match search volume. But number 16 is the first one that I would consider relevant enough to be one of the main keywords. Baskets for organizing. Here we go. Now we're starting to get more relevant. So baskets for organizing, it is a storage basket, and someone searching for a basket for organizing is much more likely to be looking for a product than laundry basket or just storage bins, for example. To me, that's, and one way we can check this, I recommend doing this before you really choose any one of these keywords as one of your top 5 search terms, is opening up Amazon and just typing the keyword into the search bar and see what comes up. So let's test this theory here. Laundry basket, I think, is going to be the wrong thing, right? So yeah, clearly none of these are the woven storage baskets, right? Not a single one of these products is our product that's coming up. It is just like these really kind of cheap plastic ones ranging from actually like higher price point than I thought they were going to be, $30. But I mean, see, you have one that's like $7, just like cheap basic laundry stuff. This is what I thought it would be, right? Not relevant to our product. Or where are we here? That extra large woven storage basket. So it's good practice to just type these keywords into Amazon and see what comes up. So let's take a look at woven basket. It's still a short tail keyword, it's only 2 words, but the fact that it says woven basket makes it a lot more relevant to me than just laundry basket. So let's see what we come up with here. So here we go. This is exactly our product. This is the exact same one. It's woven, it's got the same style. Almost all the results are coming up with a very similar thing, so I know it's pretty relevant. I mean, and you can see on laundry basket, on the previous one, there was just like tons of different kinds of products coming up. Here is pretty consistent. A woven basket is a freaking woven basket, right? So I would confirm that as one of my main keywords. And so this is one I'm not sure about. Baskets for organizing. It might be all over the place, but to me, a basket for organizing is a more specific thing than just like laundry basket, for example. So let's just type this in here. It's all about search intent when choosing the right keywords. Like how sure is someone of specifically what they want when they're typing in a certain phrase. Okay, so there's a bunch of different stuff showing up, and I'm only seeing one of my product over here. So this is only one woven storage basket. I would say it's fairly relevant. Like we got a couple of them on here, but there's quite a wide variety of products. But there is enough, and there's some people running some ads for woven storage baskets on here, so that tells me that, that maybe it's profitable and it might be working. I would consider this maybe to be one of my main ones. So I'm going to highlight this one, but I'm going to highlight it a different color. that I'm just going to track as maybe. So red for me is just going to be maybe. Blanket basket. This is another one too. Maybe I would look into this one. This, to me, I don't know. So I'm going to look at the search results and I'm going to see this. And so I think you get it at this point, guys. We just go down these keywords. We're not only looking at the exact search volume. Like I would, depending on the product, maybe your search volume is going to be somewhere around here. It's going to be 2,000 searches or like 1,800 searches for the very top results. So it's all relative, guys. There's no cutoff of has to be over 1,000 or it has to be over this. In general, I would generalize that anything less than 1,000 is not really worth looking at. But that's a big generalization. It's going to depend on your niche, like what are the main top ones, and basically you're looking for the most search volume that is also still very relevant to your product. So whatever that is for your niche is good to go. And once you've picked out 5, look for the similarities in between the search results. So highlight the ones that are good for violence keyword research, highlight the ones from Helium 10, highlight the ones from the other ones, and then just go back and forth between your choices. What are the similarities? When you're trying to decide what the top 5 ones are, you should look for the ones that are showing the same results across all of your tools, right? So like Wicker Basket is, showing up really strong across 4 different tools. For sure, that's going to be my main search phrase. Maybe one keyword research tool shows it with much higher search volume, maybe the other one shows it with lower search volume, but if it's showing similarly across 3 different tools, you can be a lot more sure that that's one you should be going for. Okay, now let's talk about placing keywords into the best fields for Amazon ranking. So there have been some articles put out there. There's one by Sellex that claims that it doesn't matter what fields on Amazon you're putting your keywords, they're all the same and there's no difference between them. But I've seen differently. I've seen evidence to show that the title and the subject matter and the search terms are much better places to put keywords. So evidence for that is your title gains keyword ranking juice for any of the keywords in the title, no matter what. And I've seen that proved a few different times by a few different tests. I've made a few basic tests on my own and also seen some larger scale tests from some friends of mine in the industry. And it seems to me across the board that the keywords in the title are going to gain keyword ranking juice. So it makes sense to put your top phrases in the title. And to go a little bit more into the title in a bit. Also seen a much higher percentage of the subject matter and search terms indexing on Amazon, meaning that you're able to index all or almost all of the keywords that are in your subject matter and search term fields. Those are both back-end keyword fields, right? So the bullet points and description should be the lowest priority places to put your keywords, just because, especially when you have really long descriptions and long bullet points, a smaller amount of those keywords are actually going to index. So if you're trying to optimize your keywords in there, there's just a bigger chance that those keywords are not actually going to be indexed by Amazon. So the recommended priority, as I have highlighted here, the title first, subject matter second, search terms third, bullet points fourth, description last. So, depending on what you believe, if you believe Sellex, it doesn't matter where you put your stuff, I still recommend that you prioritize these top 3 just because they have a higher chance of indexing on Amazon. So let's talk briefly about how to optimize your Amazon title for keyword rankings. So since it is the most important field, I recommend having your 3 main search phrases within a title. And as I have highlighted right here, this is the exact structure that I've used for more than 1,000 Amazon listings for our clients and for my own products, and it has worked quite well, right? So we start off with the main search phrase in exact match. So the main search phrase exactly as you have it in your keyword master spreadsheet. So if I chose woven basket as the #1 main search phrase, then I'm starting my title exactly with, well, too many tabs open, starting exactly with woven basket. So I type that exactly in there. And then I separate it by space dash space. I think that's the cleanest way, just to break it up into different sections. And most important, describing information. So we talked about this earlier, is a triple optimized Amazon listing is also optimized for high click-through rates by having the most important information in most important places. So that's the second little bit of your title, and that would be things like BPA free or pack of 20, or just the most important piece of information about that product to get someone to click, so they are sure that your product is what they're actually looking for. And then we want to get in your second main phrase, and we usually want to get in your second and your third main phrases in a way that is part of a longer tail phrase or that is explaining something. We don't just want to have it sit there by itself. We want to say, like, let's just say again that wicker basket was our second main phrase. we would say, wicker basket for laundry and storage organization, right? It's in a context that makes sense and is explaining information. It's not just dumping the keyword in there. And somewhere in here, we have room for, what is the main benefit of this? Like keep your spaces in your house organized, right? That's not very good copywriting, but you guys get it, right? Identify whatever the main benefit is and stick it in here. And the third main phrase. And I like to keep this as close as possible to 200 characters. In some categories, you might want a shorter title just to stand out and increase your click-through rate. But since the title is the most important place for the keywords, I like to make it as close as possible to 200 characters and have the 3 main phrases in there. Okay, and now it is time to fill in all the gaps. So we still want to make sure that we're not missing any keywords. If we're missing just a small handful of single keywords that don't show up anywhere in your listing, then we're missing out on the possibility for Amazon's algorithm to create a bunch of different long tail keywords from those keywords, right? So it's going to take, even if we just miss 10 single keywords, it eliminates the possibility that the algorithm will create hundreds or possibly thousands of variations that are based on those words, right? So it's important to fill in the gaps. And the way we're going to do that, let's say that this was our listing. We're just going to take this A10. We're going to import it into Scribbles. It's a great tool. I think this one's free by Helium 10 up to a certain amount as well. So, and if you don't have the listing on Amazon already, then you're just going to copy and paste everything manually into these fields, the title, the bullet points, wherever you have it written on your Word doc or something. But you can see it's just pulled this in automatically for us. So what we want to do now is take all of our keywords. So like we're going to go one by one to all of our keyword tabs in each one of the keyword master sheet tabs, and we're going to paste it all into here. Boom. Okay, so we've got all of our keywords from all the tabs over in here, and now we're going to quickly and easily process everything out. So I want to add only spaces. I want to add 1 word phrase per line, so it's really easy to go and manually and delete everything that I don't want in here. And one really powerful thing, so it's going to remove duplicates automatically, convert everything to lowercase so it's all nice and clean. But I'm going to click this box that says all words starting with, and I'm going to take my list. And guys, you can find this list over in the blog post link in this video, so go over there, and this literally is what the blog post is going to be, so you guys can save this in your own Word document or something. And I'm going to paste this here. So as you can see, this is just a bunch of garbage words. So this is words that commonly would be coming up within keyword tools, or ones that can get your product in trouble. So I've literally taken a bunch of these prohibited product names, and rheumatoid arthritis, marijuana, Disney, just words that you don't want in there that can get you in trouble on Amazon, or they're garbage, like target, sale, new, best, wholesale, cheap. Like typically the keyword tools would come up with a bunch of really garbage information like that, and we just don't want it. So I'm going to press process. Also, I like to remove ASINs because we don't want any ASINs in our back end as well, and the keyword tools often come up with ASINs. So you can still see we're left with a ton of words still 406 different words, and a bunch of them are still garbage. So an easy way to get rid of a bunch of them is to first sort them in not alphabetical order, in length order first. And you can see we've got a bunch of like single letter ones, XL, BY, CD. Some of these might make sense, like CD, if that makes sense for your product, then keep it in. But toy and bin, you probably want to keep that. So that's the easy on that end, and then I want to sort by length on the other side too. There's like quite often some like larger words up here that don't make sense. But once we've done that, I'm literally just going to go through one by one and delete all the words that still don't make any sense. So congratulations doesn't make any sense. Laundry basket is just 2 words shoved together. I don't want that. Housewarming, it kind of makes sense. Housewarming gift maybe is good. Collapsible, I don't want a bunch of misspellings, so I'm going to get rid of those misspellings. There is a tool, Misspellinator, that you can actually use to check if there are any misspellings that don't get autocorrected by Amazon. So I would use that tool to go double check on those misspellings. It's all pretty self-explanatory. I don't think you guys need me to show you that, but just go in there and it will show you which ones are not autocorrected by Amazon, because the ones that are autocorrected are pointless to have in your listing, and Amazon will just autocorrect and you won't actually be able to rank for those ones. So I'm going to get rid of them all right now and then go add them in later. Rubbermaid, that is a brand name. I don't want that. Same with Clevermaid, Basket Width. So I'm just literally going through one by one and removing all the ones that are not relevant enough for my product. I can't overemphasize enough how relevancy is important to your keywords. So once I've got this all done, I'm just going to go Control A and copy this back over to the left side, and I'm going to get rid of add only one word space per line and say add only spaces. So now I have a big chunk of this. It's not actually completely gone through, but I'm just going to say it is. And then I'm going to take this over to Scribble. So we have imported our listing in here. If you guys don't, you can just go up here to import listing if it's on Amazon already. If you guys don't have it on Amazon, then just copy and paste it in from your Word document wherever you have this. And then I'm going to paste what I have from Frankenstein into the left side and press apply. And what that's going to do is it's automatically going to find out what words I already have in my listing, and then it shows this here, right? So copy unused. So I'm going to copy only ones that are not in my listing. So this is really powerful. We're going to paste that in here, and you can see it put in a bunch of commas in here, so I really don't want the commas. So I'm just going to press process here, and boom shakalaka, it just has removed all of the words that were in my listing already, and I'm left only with the words that are not in my listing, and these are the keywords that we want to go through. So I still have way too much in here. Obviously, I didn't actually go through the full process of taking the ones out. There's still a lot of garbage ones in here, but at this point, now I want to go through with the second comb again, and I want to get this down to 250 characters so it can fit into my search terms. So it is a bit of a manual process, just deciding it down to literally only the most relevant ones. But once I have 250 characters, and you can easily check in here, you just paste it down in the search terms, and it is going to show you here. So I have 2167, and there's 250 characters or bytes. Bytes is actually the technical term for it, because some characters like an and symbol is actually 3 bytes, for example. But yeah, go ahead and pick this down to 250 characters, and then that is what you're going to put into your search terms. That allows you to really cover your bases and make sure you have all of the keywords that you should have in your Amazon listing. Okay guys, and that really wraps up this video. I just want to touch briefly on how to optimize your listing going forward. I'm going to be making more videos more in depth about this, so I'm just going to touch on it briefly. But once you have your listing on Amazon, you should be checking back once a week, or at the very, very least once a month, on the following things. So use Amazon keyword tracking software. It's amazing to me how many Amazon sellers don't actually track their keyword rankings. And if you're not tracking your keyword rankings for your top keywords, you are just running blind. You don't know where you should be doing your next product launch. You don't know, what is working in your PPC. It's essentially just like throwing your hands up in the air and just hoping things happen, right? And what happens if your main keyword that you're getting most of your sales through suddenly de-indexes? You wouldn't actually know, right? And so the second thing is also check your keyword indexing. There is an automated tool, seller.tools, that will automatically notify you when keywords that you're tracking de-index from your listing. Or what I personally use is in Helium 10, right? We just use Helium 10 for everything. Over here on the left side, there's Index Checker. It is manual, unfortunately, so you can just get a virtual assistant to do this manually. Or Keyword Tracker. It's a rank tracker, and that one is automatic. You just put the keywords you want to track in there, and it's going to show you automatically. And the reason to do this from the very beginning is that you have data from the very beginning. If you don't start tracking now, then you're only going to start getting data once you start tracking. So start tracking that immediately as soon as you get your product on Amazon, and then you can see how your product launches are actually performing, and then you can use that data to decide where to put most of your efforts. And a basic Amazon keyword indexing troubleshooting process. So if you are de-indexing for something, it is a bit of a process in troubleshooting to actually get it to work. So number one, add the exact match phrase and question to a different text field. If it's currently in the bullet points, then just move it over into the subject matter. If it's in the subject matter, then maybe keep it in the subject matter, but also add it to the description. It's basically just moving it around. And if you guys want more details on this, I've got the full details in the blog post, so click the link to the blog post below. But it's one of those things that is just kind of fiddly. You just got to mess around with it until you can actually get it to index. Go move it around and then check back in half an hour and see if it's fixed the problem. And then the final thing that I'll go on here is use Amazon ads to find new keywords. So I touched on this a little bit before, but the more you go along, the better data you're going to have on your keywords from the Amazon ads. So once you've been running a few $1,000s through your ads, then you should do another pass on your keywords based on that ads data. And again, once you put $10,000 through your ads, then do another pass through. This is a constant iterative process. Don't just do the keywords once and forget about it. You should be using the data and your keyword ranking and all of that stuff to make decisions about how to optimize your listing going forward. So, that was a gigantic video. Hopefully you guys got some value out of that. Subscribe to this channel on YouTube, and go check out the Kenji ROI blog. There's a lot of other good resources out there as well. And the final thing I'll leave you with is the Actualized Freedom podcast. That is my podcast all about Amazon sellers. I'm actually shutting off this video literally in 1 minute. I have another interview starting, so I have to cut it off here. Be respectful for my guests, but you can check that out at actualizedfreedom.com. And if you got some real value out of this video, then share it with a friend. Really appreciate you guys sharing this stuff, and helps me reach more Amazon sellers and help you guys reach financial freedom with your business. So hopefully you got some value, and I'll chat soon.